On this episode of Watch Stuff With Us, are Lyle and Erik's parents the real monsters? Welcome back to Watch Stuff With Us. I'm Katie.
And I'm JD.
Make sure that while you're visiting us, you hit the like button to subscribe and you share with everybody and everything you know that has access to technology.
Thank you so much for making these last episodes that we've had our biggest ones yet. So we really appreciate you guys.
We do.
And now, what you came here for, a little bit of breakdown on the 4th episode of Monsters, the Lyle and Erik Menendez story. So we started this episode with a question. Are the Menendez parents the real monsters in this show? I think we got a lot of detail on the level of abuse that they received from their parents, especially from their father. And I don't know 100% if all of this stuff is true or not. Because, of course, it's up to interpretation, and this is a show, this isn't a documentary. There doesn't have to be 100% truth to everything that occurs. So, we had a commenter by the name of, I hope I'm doing this correctly, Amaya Rice 2229, who dropped an interesting comment on on one of our shorts, and basically explained that the director of the series is kind of under fire for exaggerating certain things and everything not being exactly how it was. And they suggested that I go back and check out some of the finer details of the actual court case. Right. So all I'm going to do on this is go by what the show is showing, not exactly what the truth and everything may be. But the way they depicted the parents in the show, it made for a more convincing case that I won't say that they deserved, but it more so explained why the brothers felt the way they did and why they were willing to go to the lengths that they did in taking their parents' life. Some of the graphic detail that we got in this episode was, and I feel like we said this multiple times, but it was not expected. The crimes and situations that the father did go all the way back to very young ages, like 6 years old. Right. for Lyle, and then it ended up going from Lyle to Erik, which is often the case in abuse situations, is that, you know, one person gets abused and then another person just ends up abusing later on. And that's exactly the situation that happened and that we were shown in this episode. And it's starting to become increasingly tough to watch the show and not feel like you understand at least a little bit of a reason why the brothers ended up doing what they did.
For me, the mother in this played more of a role than I thought. They brought to light, from at least the details that the show provided, that she was aware of what was happening since they were children. She wanted to keep her family together, so she just went ahead and let it happen, did not defend her children. I don't know, she was just trying to convince herself that it's no big deal or it's not really happening, but she was aware, she played a part. She also was an avid gun collector. She seemed to have loved guns. She loved carrying them around with her. She loved purchasing new ones. She loved learning all about them. I don't know whether she intended to be threatening the boys by showing them her gun often or leaving like that magazine open and say, I'm going to get this one next. I don't know if she was intentionally trying to scare them, but I do believe it obviously was, according to this show. They were terrified that she was going to try and harm them at some point.
And when you're paranoid like that, you can sort of create all of these scenarios and situations where you think things are happening. Like, I can think of a time when I was at a place and I lost my keys, and I was basically in a room with a bunch of people and I lost my keys, and I remember not wanting to flat out tell people that I lost my keys because the people that I was in the room with might go look for the keys and then take my car. So when I realized that I lost them, I just started looking at everybody in the room, and all of a sudden everybody started looking guilty. Everybody looked like
sus.
Yes,
Kids
everybody
among
looked
us
sus.
in
Yes.
real life.
Everybody looked like they were a little bit shady, that they were changing their demeanor and their behavior. So I know what role your mind can play in a situation like this. So whether she actually was going to and had a plan with their dad to use these firearms against them, we don't know. But if you're someone who's already delusional, already feeling paranoid about them, already having some ideations that you want to harm them,
already have experienced all the emotional and sexual trauma that they have experienced,
it can make you paranoid to the point where you think like, yeah, they're really plotting some very bad things against me. So
right.
I get that part, and I empathize with them. I don't now feel sorry for them, and I don't condone what they did. But if this is true, I sort of understand why they did some of the things that they did.
Yes,
I don't
they
agree
had
with
so
them,
much,
but I get it.
So much trauma was in play here, and so much so that the show even it was explaining that Lyle, his stuffed animals from Sesame Street, had been talking to him,
right,
or one of them wanted to play with him, the other was not wanting to play with him right then.
Right, and that's just his, as a child, processing all the bad things that are happening.
He was trying to kind of cope and work through it himself, but I mean, he may have been thinking that they were more alive than they were. So definitely a lot of mental health was in play.
Mm-hmm. Or even like reaching out to them to sort of help him to cope with everything that was going on.
Right, like a play therapy aspect, having, trying to discuss everything through play.
Yeah, and I mean, in another lifetime, we were both teachers, so we kind of understand these types of things. And we dealt with a lot of students who had difficulty with emotional processing.
Yes.
And that led to physical behaviors. So it's kind of like we can really understand and, like I said, empathize with the way the brothers were feeling and thinking at the time. Do we condone it? No. There's no way that that's okay. The eventuality of what happened to their parents is okay.
But we see how it led up to that.
Definitely. So what do you think? Do you feel like their parents are the real monsters and they're the ones who turned Erik and Lyle into what they became and eventually led to their own demise? Or is this still 100% on the brothers? Drop a comment below. Let us know. I feel like this is a fascinating discussion, and I know that our tone is a little bit different this episode, but it was heavy. Like it was tough to watch, and I feel like this episode needs to have a little bit more levity to it because of the heavy topic that we dealt with. And
we'd seem a little crazy if we came on here like, hey, so this happened. Yeah. What do you think about? No, we're not going to be unrealistic. It was tough. It was heavy. So
yeah, drop your comments below. Let us know how you felt about the episode. Thank you so much for watching our show. Thank you for coming back to us after we've been gone for a little bit. Please, please, please hit the like button, subscribe. We are dropping content every day, Monday through Friday. On the weekend, we drop shorts. We drop shorts every day as well. And a full episode every day too.
All the things.
Yeah, everything. We're doing everything to get our channel out there. And we really thank the way that you guys have reached out to us through comments and likes and views thus far. And we just ask you to continue.
We appreciate you.
Much love. I'm JD.
I'm Katie.
Later.
Bye.